Paris Saint-Germain humiliated Inter Milan 5-0 in the UEFA Champions League final. Inter Milan become the first team to lose by 5-0 in a final ever. And the most important question to ask regarding this match, does this make it the best performance ever seen in the UEFA Champions League final? 2010 Barca were good. 2017 Real Madrid were very good as well. But this was just unforeseen. But before we get into it, before we answer all these questions, make sure you guys subscribe, like, check out all the platform links down below. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Charla Football. I'm your host, as always, Gerardo. And what I just witnessed, I can't even describe. I don't think anyone could have predicted a 5-0 win for Paris Saint-Germain. I think Paris Saint-Germain were favorites going into this match because aside from Barca, going forward, they were one of the scariest teams easily. But defensively, we know Inter have been pretty solid, except in the semifinal. The semifinal, they received 6 goals, right? But they were able to respond at every given moment. But in this game, they just never showed up. Before even starting the match, you have to look at the storylines behind both of these teams. Inter Milan were coming off losing the Scudetto to Napoli. Napoli raising their second Scudetto in the past 3-4 years, I believe. Inter Milan never showed enough in the league. Napoli did. And I think that might have played a big part in this match as well. I think losing out in the Scudetto in your own league can obviously affect a team going into a major tournament, into a final like this one. And PSG had won Ligue 1 months ago. They had been wrapped for a while. They only lost 2 matches in all of the league play. And what we've seen from PSG has been absolute resilience. They've gone to to most of the difficult stadiums in the world, looking at Anfield, Villa Park, I guess if you want to say it, and the Emirates, the Farmers League, showing who the real farmers are, the Premier League, because not a single Premier League team could beat this PSG team. And now same thing with Inter Milan. Every Champions League final played in Munich, Germany, which is where the final was held today. Every Champions League final there had been won by a first-time champion. In 1979, it was Nottingham Forest. In 1993, it was Marseille. In 1997, Borussia Dortmund. In 2012, it was Chelsea. And now, for the first time ever, PSG are champions of the UEFA Champions League. And where do you even start going into the actual match itself? Desiree Doué is one of the biggest talking points. He was brilliant the whole match. In the first 20 minutes, he already had a goal and an assist as well. I mean, the first piece of play, I think, was the most beautiful goal out of the 5. Is just the team effort, the team passing from this first goal was just perfection. The ball from Vitinha, who was on a sick one today as well, he played perfect as well. Almost, I mean, you can't take anything away from PSG. All the players performed at their absolute best. They were at the peak of their powers. They showed that. That's why Inter Milan had no response. And Inter Milan, up until this point, I mean, they seemed like a serious team. But today it looked like teens against old men. That's really what it looked like. We know that this PSG team is a youthful team. A lot of young talents, João Neves, Vitinha, Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, 19 years old and doing what he's doing. The youngest player to score a brace and to assist in a Champions League match ever. But I really feel for this Inter team, and I feel for the midfield specifically, looking at guys like Mkhitaryan, who at 36 years old, starting a Champions League final. Çalhanoğlu, 31, turning 32, and he's still in his peak. He's still in his prime. He's been an incredible player for Inter Milan, but it looked like kids again. It looked like boys against men, kids against men. And in this case, the men were PSG. The kids were Inter Milan. They could not keep up with the youthfulness of this PSG squad. The goal that sums this all up is the second goal specifically, the one that Desiree Doué kind of got a lucky deflection to score past Summer, but it's a ball in PSG's own half. It's a throw-in for Inter Milan that wasn't thrown properly, or PSG defended well. And at that point, it's 3v3. 3 at the back for Inter Milan and 3 PSG forwards going, I mean, at full speed. And that's the last thing you want. The last thing you want is Ousmane Dembélé versus Acerbi, a 37-year-old who is obviously not the fastest player against Ousmane Dembele, or a Desiree Doué coming on the right side all by himself. And yeah, at that point, you already knew that's where it was dangerous. That's where PSG were going to capitalize. And yeah, 20 minutes in to score the second goal, it was pretty much cruise control there for PSG. And someone has to call some sort of special services because, yeah, what they did to this Inter Milan team, to these old heads, to be honest, should be considered elder abuse. And then there's the third, the fourth, the fifth, and I can get into every single goal, but I know you guys can also watch the highlights, and I'm pretty sure you guys watched the game as well. But every single goal, there wasn't a goal that was uglier or that wasn't a masterpiece or a beautiful play at all. Every goal was almost perfect. One of the players who I think failed me the most for Inter Milan was definitely Jan Sommer. Jan Sommer in the game against Barcelona made, I don't even know how many saves at this point, an infinite number of saves, but was the man of the match in both games for Inter Milan, made crucial game-winning saves in that match in the semifinal. But in this final, couldn't get a hand to anything, especially the near post where the keeper should be saving anything at his near post. That's basically almost where all the goals came from. I'm thinking the first, hey, hold on. Let's look at the first one. No, hey, except the first one. But the second one was at a deflection that was kind of at him. To be fair, it was deflected, so it's difficult to react when it's deflected. But the second, the deflection, the Gvarashkelia one that was at the near post, and then the last one by I don't even know who's just another youngster that came in. At this point, Luis Enrique was putting on everybody, letting everybody get minutes. Everybody could get on the action. I mean, we even saw. I think it was Lucas Hernandez, who hasn't seen playing time in who knows how long. Lucas Hernandez also came on for Nuno Mendes. Um, yeah, I mean, Luis Enrique was giving everybody minutes at this point. At the near post, Jan Sommer could not save anything to save his life either. I mean, what else can you really say this match? Inter never showed up. PSG were clearly dominant, which leaves me to ask the most important question, the same question I asked you guys in the beginning of the video. Was this the best performance from a team in the UEFA Champions League ever? 2010 Barca, up until this point, were and are considered the best team to play a UEFA Champions League final. The way they completely dominated a Manchester United team. But this 2025 PSG won this match 5-0. Maybe could have made it 7-8-0 if they wanted to. They played Inter Milan right off the park. Inter Milan, they didn't look like they were playing a final. They didn't even look like they were on the field. They looked like training cones in that orange kit. And I am also one of the people that believes that 2010 Barcelona performance was the best performance from a team in a Champions League ever. But the exhibition that Paris put on today, the gameplay, the goals that were scored, every goal was perfect. The way that every player performed, the way that Inter Milan barely got one shot on target in the 75th minute. I think it's fair to say that this PSG team, this 2025 PSG team, is up there with that 2010 Barcelona, if not the best team to perform in a Champions League final. I'm going to be the first one to say I believe that this 2025 PSG team are the best team to play a Champions League final, to win a Champions League final, to win the UEFA Champions League, whatever. This is the best I've ever seen, at least in my lifetime. You guys let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe I have a few older fans or subscribers that saw that 2010 Barcelona, because I have only seen highlights and videos on my phone. I never saw the game live, not like this. What a picture perfect ending to this PSG team. They finally lived their first Champions League trophy. I never honestly would have thought. I'm very against oil clubs, looking at teams like Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, but now it's too late. I always said in my lifetime they were never going to win a Champions League, and then just a few years later they win. They will both win a Champions League. So it looks like investing billions of dollars does end up working somehow. But what I love about this PSG project now is that they're not so focused on one or two players making those superstar signings when they were bringing in guys like Zlatan, guys like Ronaldinho, guys like Mbappe, Messi, Neymar. Now they focused on youth, on actually producing or bringing in high prospect talents in the world, in France specifically, and then combining that with a world class coach like Luis Enrique, who is so good at controlling egos, but also just a master tactician. And I mean, you have to be happy for Luis Enrique too. The biggest storyline is him doing it for his daughter. And I don't have to go too deep into it, but if you guys know or don't know, his daughter passed away years ago at 9 years old due to cancer. And obviously, I can only imagine how much that has to hurt. But for him to win, like the last time he lifted a Champions League trophy was with Barca in 2015. She was with him. She planted the Catalan flag in the field alongside Luis Enrique, and now he's even said it himself. She's still going to be there, but in spirit. So I think this was just a beautiful ending for Luis Enrique. Um, I don't know why I say ending. Maybe this is just the beginning of a dynasty for PSG as well. Because yeah, what they're building over there, finally, it's looking good. But that wraps up this 2024-2025 UEFA Champions League season. I will see you guys on the next one. Make sure you guys tune in for all things footy, specifically Champions League. I will be back next season for sure. If you guys love Selección Mexicana, Mexican national team soccer, or Liga MX, make sure you guys stop on by right here as well. Anything CONCACAF related, make sure you guys subscribe, like, check out all the platform links down below. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out.